everyone, my name is Michelle. Welcome back to my channel. This is Mash Plans, where we talk about productivity and journaling, some self-care, and just about planners and notebooks and stationery. So welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new here. I hope that you like this video and that you subscribe and comment below. But today's video, I kind of wanted to go over 9 prompts, like 3 different categories to what I use in order to do some personal growth journaling. So here we go. Before we dive into the prompts, first I wanted to kind of discuss the benefits of journaling. I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you probably already know the benefits, like just overall, like your mental health, and if it's a hobby for you, it's even better. But just really specifically about this type of journaling, I would say that like the number one benefit that I've reaped from this type of journaling is kind of creating that safe space for me to kind of confront some of my insecurities, to identify patterns and triggers. That's a big one, especially if you are in therapy. They're really going to talk about that, I'm sure. And then also kind of to establish some healthy boundaries for you. Journaling is a really great way to talk to yourself almost, but through another avenue. So those are a couple of the benefits, but obviously there's so many physical and mental health benefits. And those are easily Googleable, and I'm sure they're in every YouTube video, but really I wanted to point out those ones specifically. Now that that's gotten out of the way, I wanted to kind of talk about 3 separate categories when it comes to personal health journaling that might be a little different than other videos that you've seen. So the first one is obviously going to be your inner self, but specifically kind of that shadow work. I'm not gonna go very in depth about shadow work, but just a little bit. But I have 3 separate prompts that help me when I'm trying to talk about shadow work journaling. The next category is going to be kind of like who I am type of journaling, really discovering who you are and, personal growth in that way. And then the third one is creating your dream life. This is my favorite type of journaling, and it's so fun. I can't wait to go over these prompts with you, but that's gonna be, I put it at the end so that you'll watch through to that part, because I'm not gonna lie, it's my favorite. It's my favorite type of journaling. So the first one, shadow work journaling. So what is shadow work journaling? It's the process of exploring those parts of yourself that you often kind of hide or you deny. A lot of that inner child work, a lot of the parts of yourself that are kind of darker, and just the stuff that you don't really want to deal with, but we have to deal with it in order to grow and be better people, right? So a lot of it, I think, comes from therapy because we're already discussing those things. So I think that's why I put it into that category. So the first prompt is fears and insecurity. I want you to ask yourself and write this down in your journal. What fears or insecurities have been holding me back? What can I do to start to free myself from these fears? I actually have a big section in one of my journals from, I think it looks like it's from, I think it was right after college. Actually, it was 2 years after college, but I kind of went over kind of physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and my lifestyle, right? So creating sort of that 4-space grid, and what was holding me back, what did I really need to work on, what were my triggers, which is number 2. So that's the second prompt in the shadow work category, is unhealthy patterns. Identify some patterns and behaviors that no longer serve you. Try and brainstorm some ways to break free of them. For example, a big one of mine was I found myself engaging, and I still do, so this is not like a cure-all, but I find myself engaging in more and more negative self-talk whenever I'm triggered by certain things that really affect my insecurities. So that's an unhealthy pattern, and it's also an insecurity, right? So list out your insecurities, talk about unhealthy patterns and triggers, and then try and brainstorm some ways to break free of them. So whenever I engage in negative self-talk, so I talked about the triggers that would trigger me to talk in those ways, what time of day I usually found myself doing it. Like mine are usually in the evening. I have really negative self-talk. And so some ways to break free of them: distraction, talking to friends and family instead, really journaling a lot during those periods so that I could figure out, why am I talking so negatively about myself? What is triggering this? And then I have like a list of things that make me happy. I don't have these issues as much anymore, but that was a huge example of that. And then the third one in that shadow work category is going to be limiting beliefs. Recognize the negative stories that you tell yourself, right? We all tell ourselves negative stories. We all tell ourselves, oh my God, I can't do this job anymore. I suck at it, or I'm a bad mom, or I'm unhealthy and there's nothing I can do to change it. So recognize those negative stories that you're telling yourself and then reframe them into positive affirmations, right? So I am a good mom. I can do this job. I am strong enough. I am powerful and capable, right? Like say these affirmations to yourself, write them down over and over and over and over and over and over again, right? Because you're going to basically create new pathways in your mind. That's kind of what shadow work is, right? You're taking the shadow and you're putting light onto those shadows so that you can recreate yourself. So, and sometimes it's very hard to fully do it just writing it out. So sometimes I like to use some aspects of art journaling to really kind of get that out. And you know, sometimes you just want to use like stickers and paint because it's very, very hard sometimes. So if you're finding it difficult to have these conversations with yourself, use some stickers or paint, or you know, collage some pictures from magazines and from different things to really try and like get into the right mind space. And you know, you can literally just put pictures as you're writing. You know, like a lot of my collage pieces came from magazines. You know, I don't need to do this as much anymore because journaling to me is like kind of like second nature now. I can do it a lot easier. But at first, when I was first getting into it, I found that collaging and writing things after I had already put pictures and washi tape to like distract myself, I found that a lot easier. And now whenever I do it, it's more for fun. I don't necessarily feel the need to do it as much. But I used to really, I mean, I put stickers and post-it notes and cardstock images, a lot. So that's definitely a big tip, I would say. So the next thing I would say, so the next category of personal growth journaling to me is kind of writing down who I am, discovering who I am, right? And this takes time. This is not going to be something that you can do in 6 months. That whole glow up era and the whole like, you know, living my best life era or getting rid of the lazy era in 6 months thing is beyond insane to me. You cannot do it in 6 months, okay? It takes time to figure out who you are and what you want. So don't try and rush through this and write it all down really fast and try and figure it out. It takes time to discover who you are. That was pretty much my entire 20s, is trying to figure out who the heck I am and what I even want. So the 3 prompts that I will say have really helped me with this. One is identify your core values and brainstorm ways to embody them more fully. So what I mean by that is it's not enough to just write down what's important to you. Like, yes, obviously everyone cares about family, money, career, you know, reading more and all that. But what you really need to do is identify those core values, what's really, really important to you. And I'll put a list of values in the description box that I find helpful whenever I'm discussing these, and really writing down, okay, yes, I say family is important to me, but what are the ways that I'm going to start embodying that more fully in my real, actual day-to-day life? I'm going to spend more time with my family, right? I'm going to make that time. And that helps with the next category, which is going to be creating your dream life. So you want to do this one first. You want to really identify those core values and you want to brainstorm ways that you can really embody them in your day-to-day life, right? And then the second prompt for personal growth, for who I am journaling, is self-discovery. So you're gonna ask yourself, and this one's really difficult, and it might take a couple days to fully do this journal entry. So maybe leave a couple pieces of paper in your notebook. But who am I at my core? What makes me feel most alive, right? So those are kind of two prompts in one. Who am I at my core? Who am I whenever I go to sleep at night and feel like, okay, I really lived my true authentic self today? Maybe that means I'm a mom at my core, or maybe that means I am a super hard worker at my core. I am a child of God at my core. What makes me feel most alive? I put those two together, those two questions, because I think they go hand in hand, and people usually need to like focus on both at the same time. So that's prompt number 2. Prompt number 3 is this is just a prompt, right? So how can you cultivate a greater sense of self-awareness and mindfulness in your daily life? So how can I really hone in on what's actually going on? Really consider, how are you going to cultivate a greater sense of self-awareness and mindfulness? And the best way to do that is through journaling. So you're already doing really good in that, okay? The third category of self-growth, personal growth journaling is going to be creating your dream life. That's right. We are going to create our dream life through the power of journaling. These 3 prompts are really going to help you design your dream life. 1, visualize your ideal life without limitations and write down what it looks like, okay? Get rid of all the limitations in your head. So I like to do this by completely opening a blank spread and mind mapping journaling, like things that I really, really want in my dream life. I started doing that this year, and I cannot tell you how much it has changed my entire trajectory of my life, okay? I'm talking career. I'm talking about what my dream self wears, what type of perfume I like, what type of guys I talk to or girls I talk to, who my friends are. Like, I mean, I'm married, but you know, just your dream life, okay? Talk about your dream self, your dream life, visualize it all without any limitations. Don't say like, oh, well, I live here, so I can only do this many things, or I work a 9 to 5, so I can only do this outside of my life. No limitations. Just visualize and write it all down, okay? The second prompt that helped me design, my dream life, that type of journaling, is goal setting. So you're gonna go back to the list of your core values, and you're going to use that to set some SMART goals, right? Specific, measurable, actionable, relative, and time specific. So obviously goal setting journaling, you can find a million prompts for that, but that would be my main prompt, really, is to set a couple goals that resonate with your core values. And then number 3, the third prompt, the third and final out of these 9 prompts that I've given you, is accountability. So this is a really, really big part of designing your dream life, personal growth in general, is how can I hold myself accountable as I pursue my dreams, right? So habit tracking, or different other options. Like maybe you have a best friend that really wants to work on their lives too, so you guys hold yourselves accountable by talking to each other about them, or your husband or your partner or your mom, like whoever is in your life, maybe they're helping you hold you accountable. So in conclusion, those are going to be the 9 prompts that I would recommend starting out with whenever you're starting personal growth journaling. I would say grab your journal and a pen, write those down, and then just every day for just a couple minutes, really let yourself dream. Put on some good instrumental music, put like even a timer on your phone. That can help me. I do like maybe 20-30 minutes or something like that. And maybe not every day. Maybe this doesn't happen every day. This is not the same thing as like memory keeping your journal, okay? You don't have to write down every single day, but throughout the week, really, whenever you have some time, try and set that timer and try and really let yourself just be mindful in the act of journaling, and you would be surprised by how much this could really change your life. It really, really can. So thank you for watching, and happy journaling. If you found this video helpful, I hope that you'll like and subscribe, and I hope that you'll comment below if you're going to do this. What prompt was your favorite? Do you have any other prompts that you like to use for personal growth? Let us know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.